In a world on the brink of fading, where the colours of life had dimmed and the whispers of the past were being swept away by the winds of time, there lived a small snail named Lumina. Lumina was no ordinary snail. She carried on her back an ancient shell, worn and faded, etched with the lines of countless years. This shell was her burden and her gift, for within its spiraled depths lay a magic that was old as the world itself, the power to preserve memories. Lumina's quest was a noble one, to traverse the dying world and gather the last remaining memories, saving them from being lost forever. As she embarked on her journey, the world around her was a shadow of what it once was. The rivers had slowed to a crawl, the mountains had crumbled, and the forests had withered. The world was quiet, too quiet. But for Lumina, each silent space held a story waiting to be heard. Part 1. Forest of Whispers. Her journey began in the Forest of Whispers, a place where time seemed to stand still. This was the ancient forest, a realm where every rustling leaf and creaking branch told a story of ages past. As Lumina entered the forest, she felt the weight of sorrow upon her. The creatures who once roamed the forest, once numerous and vibrant, were now few, but they recognized the significance of her journey. With her shell glowing softly, Lumina moved slowly and deliberately, absorbing the remaining essence of memories. The oldest tree in the forest, known as elderbark, stood towering above the rest of the forest. His bark deeply furrowed, rugged and rough to the touch, resembling ancient weathered stone. His branches reached out like the arms of a wise old sage, draped with a canopy of leaves that tell secrets of the past with every rustle. They twisted and turned in intricate patterns, having grown in a slow, deliberate dance with time. Elderbark was the first to speak. He whispered stories of the days when the forest was a kaleidoscope of life. He spoke of a time when his roots were young, and his branches reached eagerly towards the sky, full of lush greenery, and creatures of all shapes and sizes lived in harmony under his protective boughs. Lumina listened intently, her shell absorbing every word whispered, capturing the vivid images of the forest's golden age. She saw in her mind's eye the fluttering wings of colourful birds, the playful leaps of squirrels, and the slow, majestic strides of deer. The forest was not just a home to animals, it was a sanctuary for mystical beings. Elderbark reminisced about the days when fairies danced around his trunk under the moonlight, their laughter like tinkling bells. There were stories of wise old owls that spoke in riddles and gentle giants who tread softly upon the earth. But as the world began to wither, so too did the forest. The laughter faded, and the creatures began to disappear. Elderbark, once surrounded by life, now stood as a solemn guardian of memories, its boughs heavy with the weight of untold stories. Lumina's journey through the forest of whispers was long and filled with tales of joy and sorrow. She met the willow of weeping, whose tears rained down to the ground below. Her cascading branches swayed gracefully like tresses of long silken hair in the breeze. Her slender trunk stood tall and elegant, with an air of quiet dignity and serene wisdom that only comes with age. The willow told tales of lost love and unfulfilled dreams she had witnessed, each tear a memory of heartache and hope. Surrounded by a beautiful white light, Willow of Weeping cast her memories upon Lumina. She shed her last tear and fell quiet as she watched Lumina move through the thick earth to continue her journey. In a clearing bathed in moonlight, she encountered the circle of stones, ancient and mystical, where the voices of the forest past converged. Each stone in the circle stood upright in solemn grandeur, weathered and grey with patches of moss clinging to them. They shimmered under the moon's blanket and created an otherworldly realm. Here, memories were strong and vivid, swirling around Lumina in a whirlwind of colours and emotions. She saw visions of ancient ceremonies, of bonds forged and promises made, of the unbreakable connection between all living things. Lumina felt a surge of energy flow through her shell. She was collecting ancient memories from the stones as they shared their secrets. As Lumina's journey through the forest of whispers came to an end, her shell was a radiant beacon, filled with the memories of a place that refused to be forgotten. The forest itself seemed to acknowledge her accomplishment, the trees bowing slightly as she passed. Part 2. River of Reflections. Slowly she pressed on, and her journey now led her to the River of Reflections. Once a mighty and life-giving river, it had dwindled to but a mere trickle, a faint echo of its former glory. The riverbed stretched out like a parched scar across the land, its cracked and barren floor a mosaic of sun-baked mud and pebbles. The small pools of remaining water were as clear as crystal, carrying within them the reflections of a world that once was. As Lumina glided along the riverbank, her eyes were drawn to the pools, where memories played like a movie on its surface. She saw children laughing and splashing in the water, their joy as clear and vivid as if they were right there in front of her. These were the days when the river was a gathering place for families, a source of life and happiness. Her shell began to feel warm as she absorbed these precious moments. With each memory, the warmth within grew stronger, casting a gentle luminescence on the surrounding land. The magic of the shell was awakening, fed by the stories of the past. Further along, Lumina encountered visions of fish darting through the water, their scales shimmering like jewels under the sun. She saw the river in its days of abundance, teeming with life, a vital artery for the creatures that called it home. The fish moved in perfect harmony, a dance of survival and beauty. Near the river's edge, Lumina was captivated by the sight of flowers that once bloomed in profusion along the banks. In her mind's eye, the riverbank was a riot of colours, with wildflowers nodding in the gentle breeze and butterflies flitting from blossom to blossom. These were the days when the river nourished the land, and in return, the land celebrated with a display of floral beauty. As she continued, she realized that her mission was more than just preserving memories. It was to share life. In the end of Lumina's journey along the River of Reflections, the river, which had witnessed the ebb and flow of life, now flowed through her. Each memory she had gathered along its banks added to the tapestry of stories she carried. As she moved away from the river, she realized that her shell had transformed. It was no longer just a vessel of memories. It had become a vibrant archive of life, glowing with magic. The shell's light shone like a lighthouse, piercing through the encroaching darkness of the dying world, offering a glimmer of hope and a reminder of the beauty that once was. Through forests, across rivers, Lumina journeyed, her glowing shell illuminating her path. Wherever she went, The memories she collected brought brief flashes of life back to the world. The tales of old, the echoes of laughter, the whispers of the wind, all found a home within her shell.